Okay everyone, this is my very unprofessional video with the install of the very cool Dirt Scoots Design Street Legal Kit on my 2021 GasGas XC250F. And I left this box here because just in case you think it's going to be really bulky or heavy, the whole thing with padding and all came in this little box. And it was so light I thought he must have forgot some stuff, but he didn't. So to get started, this is not going to be a step-by-step installation video, but it's so simple you really don't need it. You just need to kind of see how it goes together. So the first thing you want to do, as Jackson says, is just lay the harness out. The stuff for the front up front, the taillight stuff in the back, just lay it across the top. Don't worry about tucking anything in at this point because everything plugs and unplugs real easily, so you can figure out where you're going to route the stuff later. My first tip is to make sure that you take all the bodywork off. If you really want to have ease in tucking stuff away and not have to work around the bodywork or do a kind of messy job with going over bodywork or whatever, the best thing to do is just take it off. It's not that hard. So anyway, lay the harness out over the top of the bike, and then you got to connect a few things to check it before you start installing the components. The first thing is you're going to connect the harness to the battery. I took the positive and slid it under this boot so it's protected, and then it tucks right in here. The relay, there was a nice little spot for it right here, even a hole for me to bolt it down or screw it down. And then when you get up to the front, you need to install the switch. Take the grip off and install the switch. And again, you can just have all this stuff laying across the top. And then you're also, it comes with one pressure switch banjo, which is right there. And you got to install that. And Jackson suggests very handily to take the brake and rotate it so that this connection is facing straight up. That way none of the brake fluid falls out or pours out, and you can connect it. And there may be a bubble in there, but there was no problem. I opted for the second banjo switch, which goes on the rear brake, and I ended up having to bleed that one, but it's no big deal. I just wanted to make sure I had both switches for the tail light. So then after you get that stuff on, and you have it connected to the battery, you just turn it on and you can check that the headlights are working. And the other thing you want to check when you do that is which blinker goes where. If you don't, you might put them on the wrong side, and there's two things that happen if you do that. One is you'll either have to move them or turn the switch upside down. But the other thing is you can see that when they go, they point to the outside, and if they're on the wrong side, they're going to be running in. So not a big deal, but it's just sort of a kind of a cool little thing that those taillights do. So very sweet, very cool. And I bent these things in place depending on how your clutch and brake lever mount. You may mount them in different places. This one I was able to bolt it up underneath, and you can the aluminum is just this real soft aluminum that you can bend into position. And I thought about taking it back off and kind of cleaning up these bends, but I didn't bother because I had them where I wanted, and they're nicely tucked up underneath there. You can't really even see them, and they're out of harm's way. And then the other thing that I did on my bike, because I'm kind of short, is I installed this Optimum Enduro lowering link. And of course, when you lower the rear, you got to lower the front. And the fork tubes ended up sticking this high. I had to even install some risers here under the handlebar so that the forks could come up high enough to get things back to the same angle. And because of that, I was able to make these brackets out of 1-inch aluminum on my bender and install the headlights there. Obviously, most people are not going to do this lowering, and you could do the same thing, putting the things down here or anywhere on the fork for that matter. So that stuff's all easy. And then once you get everything mounted in place, you can start figuring out where you want to run these cables, and just get them real nice and neat. And up here I tried to get everything tucked in behind the number plate, and then I ran the stuff back in here, tied it up all nice and neat, and ran it down into here underneath the tank. And the nice thing about going under the tank is it's totally out of the way. You can see it coming back here. It's all zip tied together. The the cable for the or the line for the tail light comes on here, goes down and ties back into that stuff, and then it comes out over on this side. And in order to get it through without interfering with anything, I cut a little notch in this piece of plastic here. And I was going to shorten these wires just to get rid of the extra, but they took away so nice that I figured I'd just leave them alone, and that way if I ever have to take them off or unplug anything, I've got plenty of slack to pull it out from under the tank. So that's the whole kit right there. The other thing that I got from Jackson, because I wasn't sure, I got with these crash bars on here. He sells some really cool bar end mirrors, but I can't do that because I got this. So he sent me this kind of nifty, it's not high quality or anything, but it'll do the job, I think, at the DMV. And it just straps on with this piece of rubber. I can pull it back off, or, you know, fold it in or something. I don't know what, when I go riding. So anyway, that's it. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Very easy. Jackson was super helpful. Any questions I had, he was, if I just emailed him, he jumped right on it. So I really can't recommend it enough. I made my own license plate bracket, but the taillight, he gives you these 3 bolts, and it has 3 holes in the top of the taillight that you can screw it through with these real nifty little bolts. But I didn't need to do that because I have this aftermarket plastic, and it had these little tabs right here for mounting a taillight, I guess. So anyway, I used those and just made some hardware to bolt it onto the tail light from the bottom. There's 2 bolts in the bottom as well, the 3 in the top and then 2 in the bottom. So that's it. So I don't live in California anymore, so that license is no good. I just put that on to size it. So anyway, that's how you do it, and it's super easy. I highly recommend it. I think that if this is the route you want to go, everything is tucked up out of the way, so it's not going to get damaged. And at the same time, it's super functional, and hopefully will get me a street title in Nevada. So anyway, thanks. Talk to you later.